The Senate passed the infrastructure bill tonight. We have comprehensive coverage of what that means for Texas and the Brazos Valley. Plus, we've had reaction from both Bryan and College Station mayors about the news. And a 180 reversal from Texas House Democrats. We see what the Texas State Supreme Court ruled earlier today. Your Krhd News starts right now.
Connecting the Brazos Valley. This is KRHD News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us at 10. I'm Hallie Jones. The $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill has passed the Senate 69-30. Two of those no votes came from both Texas Senator Ted Cruz and John Cornyn. Senator Cruz says he voted against the bill because, quote, a portion of the bill is designed to obliterate cryptocurrencies.
This body took a part in destroying jobs and a budding industry that will provide billions of dollars of new opportunity. And if the Senate keeps on this course, we're going to send it instead overseas to our competitors.
Cruz adds that Congress hasn't had any hearings on crypto. Senator Cornyn issued this quote about the bill. It isn't paid for and will add too much to the debt and was rushed through the Senate in a week's time without adequate debate or input. Cruz also stated the cost and how it would add $256 billion to the deficit. Back in 2017, both voted for a bill that was projected to add $1 trillion to the deficit. The bill now heads to the House. But what does the infrastructure bill bring to Texas? According to the White House, Texas would get over $31 billion in funding. $27 billion would go to roads, $3 billion for public transportation, $500 million would improve bridges, and $408 million would create electric car charging stations across the state, and $100 million for broadband internet. Of the $27 billion, a good portion of that money would go to expanding I-14 in Texas to the Louisiana border and over to Odessa and I-20. It is a part of the larger plan to expand the interstate to Augusta, Georgia. I spoke with both Mayor Andrew Nelson and Mayor Carl Mooney about the expansion and what the timetable to see it under construction here in the Brazos Valley could be. They are hopeful that because of the segment already in Belton, the Brazos Valley will see it sooner rather than later. Here's what they both had to say.
1,000 miles, if you did 40 miles a year, that would be incredible. And it would still take 25 years to do it if we started today. And we haven't started today. So there's a lot more that has to get done.
We don't really have anything that truly connects all the pieces. For example, Interstate 35 to Interstate 45, right? And this will do that.
Both mayors are members of the I-14 Gulf Coast Strategic Highway Coalition and say last week's announcement was a big first step. The interstate would have a significant impact on the Aggieland economy. According to the Brazos Valley Economic Development Corporation, the interstate bringing East and West Texas together could be a welcome route for many industries in the Brazos Valley. BVEDC says that Interstate 14 coming through town could be just one important piece of an even bigger picture for economic development.
There's also an I-214 corridor that we're talking about as a loop, an outer loop around the greater Brazos Valley area. And then you think about things like the high-speed rail and what that could bring for us. And so all of this together really benefits us and gives us more competition and a greater leg up.
He says companies tend to be looking for the type of transportation opportunities that an interstate might bring to a city. A good connection to other major cities could create a draw for new businesses in the area. As Congress is set to vote on the $1 trillion national infrastructure plan this week, KRHD News reporter Hannah King shares how impactful businesses are on the side of the interstate.
The closest Buc-ee's to Bryan College Station is 40 minutes away in Madisonville. Open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, a stop you have to make when near one.
Man, they got everything. You can definitely get gas. They just got everything. I love the beef jerky. And they got like 20 different kinds. So there's that. They got a lot of drinks. They got everything you need.
Buc-ee's is a staple on Texas highways. The business's attorney said while Buc-ee's says they don't have any immediate plans to expand to our area, they're always looking to expand to locations that make sense.
Because then you'll have a place you can fill up, you can get anything you need and keep on going.
We asked the mayor of Madisonville how impactful businesses similar to Buc-ee's are off interstates on rural towns and in relation to the 5-state I-14 expansion.
Those type businesses are good for the city, and any new ones coming in will be good. 14 will be a long way off. It's not determined yet where it will go. One of the routes is to come through Madisonville, and it would be an asset to Madisonville.
If the expansion of Interstate 14 comes to fruition, travelers hope places like the home to the friendly beaver will pop up with the new roads. In Madison County, Hannah King, KRHD News.
The tides appear to have turned for Texas House Democrats. A day after a Travis County judge ruled they could return home without the threat of arrest, the state Supreme Court voided the ruling. The ruling came at the request of Governor Greg Abbott and House Speaker Dade Phelan. Democrats have until 4 p.m. Thursday to respond. Those who are arrested won't face criminal charges, be jailed or fined, but rather be taken to the state capitol and the House chambers. Phelan signed those warrants earlier tonight.
The Dixie Fire in Plumas County, California is now the state's second largest ever. Smoke from that fire is impacting air quality all across the country. It's turned air in Denver and Salt Lake City, and it's some of the most dangerous in the entire world this week, according to IQ Air, which does rank air quality and pollution across the world. Now, air quality on the East Coast is even ranked as moderate, but there are some things that you can do to protect yourself.
We encourage you to take steps such as getting portable cleaners for one or more of your rooms, keeping your windows and doors closed as much as possible to keep that clean air in.
Jocelyn Hillard with the Red Cross is currently on the ground around this fire, and she says other things to avoid when air quality is bad is cooking fried food, vacuuming, and using gas-powered appliances. Now, a recent study in the Journal of Exposure Science and Environmental Epidemiology links wildfire smoke to susceptibility of getting COVID. Researchers found Reno, Nevada, which was hit hard last year by wildfire smoke, had an 18% higher COVID positivity rate than cities not exposed to high levels of smoke. Now, it's another reason why it is so important to take steps in avoiding anything that could start a wildfire, especially so the devastation and loss that people in California are facing right now doesn't spread.
I've met people here at this facility that have evacuated and gone home. Next 2 days, they're back out evacuating. Now, one of them is here for the last 3 weeks. So it's a lot of unknown. What's going to happen tomorrow? Will I be okay? Will my pets be okay?
The Red Cross has mental health counselors stationed at shelters to help people going through this. They provided us the photos you're looking at here. Now, if you would like to help with the wildfire relief efforts, you can visit redcross.org or call or text the numbers that you see right here on your screen. Well, the pandemic is scary, and there's a new study that says people are still not losing faith in doctors and nurses. The AP NORC poll found a high level of trust in those on the front lines of this pandemic. Researchers say that trust is important when it comes to boosting the amount of people who have received the vaccine. Now, ahead in our lineup, we'll talk about how a first-of-its-kind workplace climate training program works and what experts say it is going to take to actually turn a training like this into action.
The last 18 months has been rough on a lot of people, including hospitals needing blood. Coming up, we see the need for blood as COVID cases rise right here in Brazos County. The need to donate blood is more important than ever, as experts say this past year and a half has been the worst for blood donations. This week, KRHD 25 News is teaming up with Baylor Scott & White Medical Center in College Station to hold a 2-day blood drive. I met with Baylor Scott & White staff who are encouraging the community to come out and donate.
Like many people, Kelly Teets was hesitant to donate blood.
No, I had never donated before working in the medical profession. I always knew there was a need, but I was far too afraid of needles or, the discomfort that you might feel, so I never donated before.
But that all changed when she was a radiology student. Teets, like so many others in the medical profession, got to see firsthand how critical blood donations are in saving a patient's life.
I responded to a trauma for the first time, and the doctor called for the blood from the blood bank. And I remember the staff member walking by with, just like a little cooler that was innocent and inconsequential, but it had this gift of life in it. And in that moment, I considered the donor. And I was thinking, they had no idea what the result of their donation was and how it was going to potentially save the life of this person in front of me.
And it was from that moment, Teets' fears of donating blood didn't matter anymore, realizing she needs to do her part and help save lives like the donors before her.
Not many people get to see the end of that sort of chain of custody. And that was really powerful because it forced me to reevaluate my reasons for not donating. Suddenly the fear and nervousness that I was going to have from donating just didn't matter anymore.
Teats encouraging everyone to come out Thursday or Friday to make a difference in the community by donating blood and ultimately saving someone's life.
I would encourage others who are in the same position that I was to consider that we don't always get the opportunity to make a difference in our communities, make that positive impact, but blood donation is such a simple and easy way to do that.
The next blood drives are from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Thursday at Baylor Scott & White Medical Clinic on University Drive and Friday at Baylor Scott & White Hospital in College Station. For more information and to schedule your appointment to donate, visit our website. Now let's head on over to First Alert Chief Meteorologist Matt Hines with a look at weather.
And it was another hot August day. What else is new here across the area? A little humidity to go along with that to make it feel like over 100 degrees earlier this afternoon, but we're coming down slowly but surely tonight. 86, feeling like 94, and that dew point's at 74, so it is definitely humid. Winds around the south-southeast at 14 miles per hour, so at least a little breeze out there. But as we progress through this week going into the weekend, that wind's going to start to come down, and you're going to notice that because it's going to feel a little bit hotter outside. And the tropics are also heating up on us. This is potential tropical cyclone number 6. What does that mean? Well, it doesn't have a well-defined center just yet, even though on the satellite picture it shows that, and the wind now is up to 40 miles per hour. So we do have tropical storm force winds, just no center of circulation. So that happens, this will be named Fred, and Fred will be making his way off toward the west-northwest, currently located just south of Puerto Rico. That will continue across the Dominican Republic there and Haiti, and as we make our way toward Cuba, and then eventually off the west coast of Florida. But that'll be by the weekend, and notice it curves, so probably not coming to Texas, so we don't have to really worry too much about that around here. Clouds and radar showing some rain and thunderstorms near El Paso tonight, but nothing in our part of the state, as that system will likely stay to the west of us. So here we go with temperatures into the 70s once again tonight. And 75 is normal, so right around 75 to 77, so not too far from that. And then tomorrow, 97 is the normal high. Will probably be 94 to 96 across the region, but feeling like it's over 100 with the humidity. 106 from 1969. That record will stay in place once again. And as we take a look at your forecast, temperatures into the middle 90s the next couple days, partly cloudy skies. By Friday, could be an isolated storm sneak in from the southeast. Same for Saturday. And then as we get into Sunday and Monday, if a weak cold front gets close enough to the area, we may have a chance for a few scattered showers and thunderstorms by then. Temperatures will still be pretty warm, though, into the mid-90s, and then maybe more isolated thunderstorms as we head toward the middle of next week.
Addressing climate change is on all of us. Strategies to do it are now becoming part of training at work. Deloitte just started a climate learning program for its 330,000 workers. It's a first of its kind program among major global organizations.
Our training, it has, the basics of climate change so people understand a little bit about the science. Then we talk about what Deloitte is doing. So we don't just want the burden is not only on them. We want them to be cognizant of all the actions we've taken as part of our world climate strategy. And then we also have a piece around how they themselves can start to affect change in their daily lives.
Kathy Alsagaff was involved in developing this new program for Deloitte. She says that they knew the importance of including a rational argument around climate change, but also an emotional part of it. Casey Bush's research focuses on climate change, and she found that education about it needs to be effective with communicating the societal parts of climate change, just as important as clearly communicating the science.
There are additional concerns that the sources that adults learn from might be misinformational or disinformational. And so one of the things that they have found that is most important is the messenger and whether or not that messenger is a trusted messenger. And I think that in the case of an employer, then you're ticking that box.
As far as turning that knowledge into action, Bush says it has to be a long-term commitment with multiple follow-ups.
If you're thinking about the recipe, right, like it's a pinch of knowledge a half cup of social norms and a quarter cup of efficacy, and the structural pieces to really boost all of that for action to be happening over a longer period of time.
We like to think of the training as, not the end of the course, but a beginning of a journey.
Deloitte lets employees pick action items for themselves, and they can get an email check-in in 30 days. The company believes that this training could lead to employees bringing up climate change and conversations more with their clients as well. Now, there's only one summer camp in the entire country that has a mission to teach kids about racism. Next on our lineup, what parents say they believe is the biggest benefit. As of this week, more than 71% of the adult U.S. populations received at least a dose of the COVID vaccine. Still, distribution remains uneven across states and ethnicities. Take a look at these numbers. They are the latest from the CDC, showing the highest percentage of people who have received at least a dose are Native Americans, followed by Asian Americans, those who are Hispanic or Latino, and those who are white. Vaccination rates are lowest among Black Americans. Now, as virus surges give rise to more resistant variants, healthcare institutions say community outreach to those still on the fence is now the front line of battling the virus. Usher Qureshi takes a look at the effort to reach the unvaccinated.
Tomato sauce, spicy lemon, cucumber, and tamarind.
Mexican traditional mug.
Just some of the possible ingredients for the spicy beer cocktail known as michelada.
As the years have progressed, a lot more people, a lot more brands have made their own spin or version of it.
At the return of this summer festival, traditional dancing, merchandise, and drinks are on the menu, but the global pandemic is still top of mind.
This is a big gathering place, and I know a lot of people are nervous about coming out.
Healthcare workers here are educating festival goers on home testing options.
Are you guys vaccinated?
They're also patrolling the grounds, promoting the importance of getting the shot.
We are here offering the COVID vaccine.
But Alma Blancarte Mora, a community health nurse, says they don't anticipate being flooded by people clamoring to get vaccinated.
We're at a festival and we're not expecting to vaccinate hundreds of people, but what we are doing is connecting with people, letting them know that we're here.
A recent analysis by the Kaiser Family Foundation found that of the total number of adults in the U.S. who have received at least one dose, 61% are white and 29% are Hispanic or Black.
And this is your first dose.
24-year-old Daytan Del Valle, a Michelada Festival attendee, had been thinking about getting the vaccine, but finally rolled up his sleeve at the beer fest.
Friendly staff came to me and was like, "You want to have it?" I figured it was convenient today for me to get it, and I got it.
In some states, the shares of vaccinations going to Hispanic people are increasing. Florida, Nevada, California, New Jersey, Texas, and New York, for example, all saw increases by at least 10 percentage points. Organizers here say that this is the new front line in the global fight against the pandemic.
The majority of the people that are visit us is going to be because they've heard it through the word of mouth at the festival.
Grassroots events like this that honor culture and tradition, they say, will help build trust where it may be in short supply. Reporting from Chicago, I'm Usher Qureshi.
Most of us learned how to swim or did arts and crafts at summer camp, but kids this year are getting a much more eye-opening experience. Chris Conti takes us to a summer camp where the kids are spending their time learning about racism.
If I was going to do something, what would it look like? What would it be? What would we do?
Like a canvas full of color, there is a myriad of ways to talk about the history of racism in this country.
Thinking about my own children and what type of world did I bring them into?
Rhonda Taylor Bullock has learned that well over the years. She is the founder of We Are.
We Are is an acronym, and it stands for Working to Extend Anti-Racist Education.
A Raleigh-Durham-based nonprofit. They are also the only group in the country to offer a summer camp whose sole mission is to teach kids about racism. The idea is to educate children to be anti-racist during their formative years.
The curiosity, the empathy is different for younger children. The willingness and the want to be a good person is different with younger children. And I think those are the foundational years for kids. And so if we can be more intentional.
We will treat others better when we come.
This is not your ordinary camp. Kids from 1st to 5th grade are often asked to open up about their own experiences with racism.
You know, you bring kids into this space, it's camp, you want them to have fun, but you're wrestling with a very serious topic, and we're very clear and upfront with parents that, like, your kids might come to this space and cry.
Even though we do talk about harsh topics sometimes, everyone is like there for each other, so I don't really ever feel scared or nervous when I'm trying to share something.
11-year-old Tatiana Shields has been to the camp now for the last 4 years.
I don't really think there's a reason to be racist because it's just a skin color.
Perhaps her most memorable experience this year was painting a self-portrait and using multiple colors in a palette to create the color that she sees as her own skin.
And it was interesting finding out how to do it because I would never think that I would end up using some yellow and some red to end up making a skin color.
Tatiana considers herself multiracial. Her mom wants this soon-to-be 6th grader to go into middle school with a strong sense of racial identity and the ability to call out others when racism might arise.
I saw an opportunity where she could not only sort of explore her own racial identity, but have some fluency in talking about race. Because I think part of our fear around confronting racism is we don't have the language. We don't know how to speak about it.
The whole idea is to teach kids empathy, open their eyes at a young age to the world around them, in hopes they will go out into the world with more accepting points of view.
Their largest question they always ask, and it's so heartbreaking, why? And you give them an answer, and they're like, but why? You give them another. It doesn't make sense to the children. It's heartbreaking that they have to wrestle with this because of the mess that, you know, adults have made.
For Bullock, the work won't end when summer does. She's creating curriculums that preschools in the Raleigh area can use to talk about racism.
The window of hope is so much wider with young children than it is with us as adults.
It is that hope that she wants the kids in this camp to carry, no matter the color of their skin.
They want to live in a socially just world where people are treated fairly.
In Durham, North Carolina, I'm Chris Conti.
All right, Chris, thank you. In Last Carolina today, telemedicine visits have become more common for people and their pets. We'll talk about what you need to know about teletriage as it opens up to more pet owners.
Sports update with WDAW Zach Taylor.
Hey KRHD viewers, the USA Today preseason coaches poll has been released and Texas A&M football comes in at number 6. Reigning national champion Alabama is number 1, followed by Clemson, Oklahoma, Ohio State, and Georgia. The Aggies, Notre Dame, Iowa State, North Carolina, and Cincinnati round out the top 10. Texas is number 19. Luka Doncic is staying put in Dallas. The 22-year-old superstar signed a 5-year, $207 million Supermax extension.
Jimmy Kimmel is up next. Good Morning Texas is on the air tomorrow at 5 a.m. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.